There's a reason the most powerful minds in history, Buddha, Einstein, and even modern-day billionaires, understood the power of silence and self-focus. Silence isn't emptiness. It's where true wisdom is found. Self-focus isn't selfish. It's how you master your destiny. But how do you truly cultivate these? Here are 7 rare lessons from Buddhism that will transform how you think, act, and succeed. Lesson 1. Silence reveals the truth. When the mind is silent, the soul speaks. There's an ancient Zen story. A student came to a master and asked, "What is the ultimate truth?" The master poured tea into the student's cup. He kept pouring, and the tea overflowed. The student shouted, "Stop! The cup is full." The master smiled. "Like your mind, full of noise. Until you empty it, you cannot receive truth. True wisdom comes when you quiet the mind." Most people fear silence, but those who embrace it hear the truth others miss. Take 5 minutes daily to sit in silence. No phone, no talking, just observe. Lesson 2. The strongest person speaks last. Silence is a source of great strength. Buddha's disciple Ananda once asked, "Master, why do wise men speak less?" Buddha replied, "Because they listen more." The world rewards those who listen, observe, and act with precision. In meetings, in arguments, in negotiations, the most powerful person isn't the loudest. It's the one who speaks last, with wisdom. Next time you're in a discussion, pause before responding. Let others reveal their thoughts first. Lesson 3. Focus like a Buddhist archer. In ancient Japan, there were archers who trained not just their bodies, but their minds. To them, archery wasn't just about hitting a target, it was about mastering focus itself. When they stood before their target, they didn't obsess over hitting the bullseye. They didn't let their minds drift to whether they would succeed or fail. Instead, they focused on each movement with complete awareness. They pulled back the bowstring slowly, feeling the tension in their fingers, the stretch in the bow, the rhythm of their breath. When they released the arrow, they let go of all expectations. They trusted that if they executed the process with precision, the result would take care of itself. This is the opposite of how most people approach success today. Many people focus only on the outcome, chasing results, stressing over whether they'll win or lose, worrying about things outside their control. But in Buddhism, the teaching is clear. Don't chase success, master the process, and success will come naturally. Think about a student preparing for an exam. If they keep worrying about their final grade, they waste energy on fear instead of studying. But if they focus on understanding each topic deeply, step by step, their knowledge grows and the good grade follows effortlessly. Or consider an athlete. If they keep thinking about winning a championship, they lose focus on the daily training that actually gets them there. This is the power of presence. When you put your full attention into what you are doing, without distraction, without rushing, without worrying about the outcome, you perform at your best. Take a moment today to apply this mindset. Choose one thing you need to work on. It could be studying, writing, exercising, or even having a conversation. Give it your full attention for 30 minutes. No checking your phone, no multitasking, no thinking ahead. Just immerse yourself in the process. If you can learn to focus like the Zen archers, your goals will no longer feel like struggles. The results will come naturally, because success isn't about chasing. It's about being fully present in each step. Lesson 4. Master the art of not reacting. One day, a man approached Buddha filled with anger. He insulted him, mocked him, and tried to provoke a reaction. But Buddha remained completely calm, as if he hadn't even heard the man. This only made the man angrier. He finally shouted, "Are you not offended by what I said? Do you not hear me?" Buddha smiled and asked, "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The man paused for a moment and said, "It still belongs to the giver." Buddha nodded. "Then why should I accept your anger?" This simple story holds a powerful truth. When someone tries to hurt you with words or actions, their negativity only affects you if you choose to accept it. But this is exactly where most people struggle. We react instantly. Someone says something offensive and we fire back. Someone cuts us off in traffic and we get angry. Someone disagrees with us and we feel the need to argue. We live in a world where people are constantly trying to provoke a reaction from us, whether it's through social media, gossip, or personal conflicts. But every time we react emotionally, we lose control of ourselves. We let others dictate how we feel and how we behave. Imagine someone insults you at work. If you react with anger, you might say something you regret, which could affect your career. Imagine someone posts a rude comment online. If you engage, you waste your time and energy on negativity. In Buddhism, true power is not in reacting, but in choosing when and how to respond. The strongest person is not the one who yells the loudest, but the one who remains steady, no matter what happens around them. This doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions. It means you should observe them before acting. If someone insults you, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Think about fire. It needs oxygen to burn. If you stop giving it air, it dies out on its own. The same goes for arguments, drama, and negativity. If you stop feeding them with your reactions, they disappear. A great example is how martial artists train. In some forms of martial arts, fighters don't attack first. Instead, they watch, stay calm, and only move when necessary. Their control over their reactions is what gives them an advantage. You can apply the same principle in your daily life. When someone tries to provoke you, become like a mountain, unshaken, steady, immovable. When you stop reacting, you take back your power. Next time you feel triggered, do this. Pause, breathe, and let go. If it's not worth your energy, don't accept the negativity being handed to you. Instead, choose silence, choose peace, and choose self-control. The one who does not react is the one who has already won. Lesson 5. Your mind is like a glass of muddy water. A young disciple once approached his master with frustration. "My mind is restless," he said. "I can't focus, I can't find peace, and my thoughts are always scattered. How can I clear my mind?" The master smiled and handed him a glass of water. Then he picked up a handful of dirt and dropped it into the glass. The water immediately became murky and clouded. The master asked, "Can you see through the water?" The disciple shook his head. The master then placed the glass on the table and said, "Now wait." At first, nothing seemed to happen, but as the minutes passed, the dirt began to settle at the bottom, and the water slowly became clear. The master pointed to the glass. "This is your mind. When you are constantly moving, thinking, and reacting, your thoughts are like the dirt, agitated and unclear. But when you allow yourself to be still, clarity will come on its own." Most people today never let their minds settle. The moment they wake up, they check their phones. They spend hours scrolling through endless notifications, consuming information without pause. They fill every quiet moment with noise, TV, music, conversations, distractions. They never give their minds the chance to be still. And as a result, their thoughts remain clouded. They feel anxious, overwhelmed, and unable to focus. But just like the glass of muddy water, the mind doesn't need to be forced into clarity. It only needs stillness. When you stop stirring it, it naturally becomes clear. Think about how many times you've felt confused or stuck in life. Have you ever noticed that the best ideas come when you're not trying to force them? Maybe in the shower, on a quiet walk, or during a peaceful moment before sleep. That's because clarity comes in stillness, not in effort. Buddhist monks practice this principle through meditation. They don't fight their thoughts. They don't try to stop their minds from thinking. They simply sit, observe, and let their thoughts settle naturally. Over time, their minds become clear, sharp, and focused. You can do the same in your daily life. Instead of constantly filling your mind with distractions, give it time to settle. Start with just 2 minutes of complete stillness every morning. No phone, no talking. Just sit and breathe. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. Your thoughts may race. But if you stay with it, something magical happens. Your mind starts to slow down. The mental fog begins to clear. You start seeing things as they really are. In a world that constantly tells you to do more, Buddhism teaches, be still, let your mind settle, and the clarity you seek will come naturally. Lesson 6. Detach or be pulled. A group of travelers once came across a river. The current was strong, and the only way across was to swim. As they prepared to enter the water, they noticed something unusual. A monkey on the opposite side, desperately trying to pull a fruit from a tree branch hanging over the river. The monkey grabbed the fruit, but as soon as it plucked it from the branch, it slipped from its fingers and fell into the rushing water. Panicked, the monkey jumped in after it. The fruit floated just ahead, carried by the current. The monkey swam furiously, reaching out, but the more it chased, the faster the water pulled the fruit away. Soon the monkey was no longer in control. Instead of reaching the fruit, it was swept away by the river. The travelers stood in silence, realizing they had just witnessed a powerful lesson. When you refuse to let go, you risk being pulled into destruction. In life, we are all like that monkey. We chase things, success, approval, control, material possessions, believing that if we hold on tightly enough, they will bring us happiness. But more often than not, the very things we cling to end up controlling us. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. We become attached to our desires, to people, to outcomes, to our own idea of how life should be. And when things don't go as we expected, we feel pain, frustration, and disappointment. Imagine a person who ties their happiness to money. If their income increases, they feel good. But the moment they lose money, they feel like their world is falling apart. Or someone who clings to the approval of others. If people praise them, they feel valuable. But if they face criticism, they feel worthless. This is what attachment does. It makes your peace conditional. It puts your happiness in the hands of things you can't control. And when those things slip away, because everything in life is temporary, you feel like you are drowning. But detachment doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop depending on things for your inner peace. You can enjoy success, relationships, and achievements without being owned by them. Imagine holding sand in your palm. If you squeeze it too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays in place. This is the way of detachment, holding things lightly, knowing that they are not yours to control. There's a Zen saying, let go or be dragged. A person who refuses to let go of the past gets dragged by it. A person who clings to anger becomes a prisoner of their own emotions. A person who obsesses over control will never know peace, but the one who learns to detach is free. If something is meant for you, it will come naturally. If it isn't, no amount of chasing will make it stay. Look at your own life. What are you holding on to that is pulling you down? A toxic relationship, the need for approval, an idea of success that isn't even yours? Let it go. Detach or be pulled. The choice is yours. Lesson 7. The Empty Boat Philosophy. One evening, a Buddhist monk was crossing a river in a small wooden boat. The water was calm and the air was still. As he rowed peacefully, his mind was at ease. Suddenly, out of nowhere, another boat came drifting downstream and crashed into his. The impact shook his boat, and for a moment he felt irritation rise inside him. He turned to see who was responsible, ready to scold the careless boatman. But when he looked, he saw that the boat was empty. There was no one to blame, no one to be angry at. The boat had simply been carried by the current. Immediately his frustration disappeared. He smiled at his own foolishness and continued on his way. Later, the monk shared this story with his disciples. He said, "If another person had been in the boat and crashed into me, I would have felt anger. But because the boat was empty, I let it go." Now imagine, what if I could see every person's actions the same way? What if I could see them as an empty boat, drifting through their own struggles, instead of taking their actions personally? This is one of the most powerful lessons in Buddhism, the philosophy of the empty boat. Most of us go through life believing that people's actions are personal. If someone insults us, we take offense. If someone is rude, we feel attacked. If someone ignores us, we assume it's about us. But in reality, most of the time, people's actions have nothing to do with us. A person who snaps at you in traffic may be dealing with stress at home. A co-worker who is cold to you might be struggling with their own insecurities. A friend who forgets to call back may be overwhelmed with their own battles. Their actions are not a reflection of you, they are a reflection of their own state of mind. But when we take things personally, we suffer. We let other people's behavior dictate our emotions. We become reactive, defensive, and trapped in unnecessary conflicts. Buddhism teaches that wisdom is in letting go. Instead of seeing others as enemies or obstacles, see them as empty boats. Understand that they, too, are being carried by the currents of their own struggles, just like you. Imagine this. Next time someone says something rude to you, instead of reacting with anger, pause. Ask yourself, is this really about me, or is this just an empty boat? If you stop taking things personally, you become untouchable. Your peace is no longer controlled by the words or actions of others. There's an old saying, no one can hurt you without your permission. If you refuse to take offense, no insult can touch you. If you refuse to engage in drama, no argument can control you. If you refuse to carry resentment, no past wound can weigh you down. Think of the last time someone's words or actions made you upset. Now ask yourself, what if I had seen them as an empty boat? Would I still be carrying that weight? True strength is not in fighting every battle. It's in knowing which battles aren't worth fighting. And most of the time, the best response is no response at all. Let go. Be free. See the empty boat, and you will never be controlled by others again. The world is loud, chaotic, and full of distractions. People react, chase, and cling to things that only bring suffering. But you don't have to live that way. You now have 7 powerful lessons, each one a key to mastering silence, self-focus, and inner strength. Silence reveals truth. Stop filling every moment with noise, and you'll finally hear what matters. The strongest person speaks last. Listen more, observe deeply, and respond only when necessary. Focus like the Zen archer. Master the process, and success will come naturally. Control your reactions. True power is in choosing when and how to respond. Let your mind settle. Clarity comes not from force, but from stillness. Detach or be pulled. Stop clinging to what is dragging you down. See the empty boat? Don't let others' words and actions control your peace. Imagine applying even one of these lessons daily. Imagine how unstoppable you would become. No more unnecessary stress, no more wasted energy, just pure focus, power, and peace. Most people will hear this and continue living as they always have. But you are not most people. You now have wisdom that can change your life, if you choose to apply it. So I challenge you, start today. Pick one lesson, one action, and live it. See what happens. Comment below which lesson spoke to you the most. Subscribe for more wisdom that transforms your life. You have the power to change everything, but it starts within.